But Yagshamash.
Hey, you stole my bit.
Did you?
I was going to say Yeshamesh.
What?
I was
going
going
to
to
say
start
Yeshamesh.
God, I was going to start this whole thing off by saying Yeshamesh, very nice. Wah wah wee wah.
Now, how did you read my notes? And you knew I was going to do that? I don't know how we're on the same page. I guess the great minds think alike, kind of thing.
I didn't think it at all. So what does that say about me?
I don't know.
If you're watching at home and you haven't figured out the movie we're doing today, it is Schindler's List.
Yeah.
1992 classic. No, it's even better. Next film we are actually doing makes Schindler's List look like grocery list.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say off the bat, they had the balls to make a sequel to this one. You know, Schindler's List, the saga is still kind of like, are they going to wrap this up?
What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this, they did it. So kudos, Sacha Baron Cohen, you did it. So anyway.
Borat 2. The film is Borat 2.
It just came out. This is our freshest movie we've ever done.
Yeah.
So,
we really have never done one of these on a brand new movie.
And which is funny because the idea of this podcast was after we did the Star Wars one the day it came out.
Yeah.
The reception was so good to that.
Yeah.
So we started doing this, but I guess that was the freshest. That was out that morning. And
technically, that was the freshest. But
spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Borat 2 about 1,000 times more than that story. So.
There you go.
Hey, legitimately, I don't know how serious or how, I take it you're fairly serious, but legitimately, I think there was more legit character development in Borat 2 than Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, I think you're right.
I'm not joking.
Yeah, higher stakes. Better story all around. We'll get into it.
Yeah.
So this is a special edition of Movie Club. We're live from my office at the Mega64 studio.
Yeah.
Wow.
We all came
ahead.
here and it was like, well, what's the best way to record it? Okay, we're all here. Cool. Let's find a dynamic way to do let's just do it with our phones like we always do. Okay, great. Yep.
Yeah.
But it works. The formula works. I think it works.
I think it works great. This is how it's going to be done until the foreseeable future, and then maybe we'll build a set for this and have it super nice. But for right now, this is fine. Who cares?
Yeah, we'll build a sweet set where it can do like 360 shot, like it's fucking That 70s Show, just bullet time shit. Anyway,
let's get into Borat 2.
Yeah.
Also known as Borat subsequent movie film.
Yes.
Also known as, I don't know. They give it like 4 titles throughout the film.
Yeah, they keep changing the title, which is a joke in itself.
That's right. It is a joke. I agree.
And
no, this movie's so new. There's not even really like a plot synopsis to go off of. So we're just going to have to recall from memory the plot. And I guess this will be a looser episode of Movie Club. We're just going to shoot the shit a little bit.
Because I honestly, we all saw it. I haven't talked to you guys about it at all. I have no idea what you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just let's drop the pretense. Let's say to hell with the format.
Okay.
And let's just have a conversation about Borat 2.
Okay.
We all saw it. We haven't even talked about it. What did you guys think?
Well, let me just say, the last thing that I expected, I tweeted this earlier. If you would have told me that in 2020 we would have a mass viral pandemic and one of the only good movies that came out during 2020 would be Borat 2, I would have been like, you have to be joking. Like, call the FBI on this guy. But for me, this was a pleasant surprise because not only did not much come out this year, I never thought we were going to get another movie like this from Sacha Baron Cohen. I thought like that was not possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So regardless, it was a treat.
My immediate response when I heard Borat 2 was coming out was, how is Borat gonna work in 2020? You know,
right.
Can you still even make this movie? I feel like, the original came out in 2006, and it was a different time back then.
Yeah.
And then I had read some early reviews that said, that that's pretty much the case. A little bit of this movie falls flat, is a little stale. I think I'm glad I went in after reading those reviews because my expectations were super low. Yeah. And this movie was a lot better than I expected.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started the movie and I was like, I haven't seen Borat in so long. Like, I don't blame Sacha Baron Cohen for how popular it got. Kind of like Napoleon Dynamite, where it's like this blew up and everyone made this annoying. I don't blame you, but it happened.
Yeah.
And when this movie started and it was his voice doing the thing, I was kind of like, I don't know. And then he's like going through Kazakhstan, and then he said "my wife" the way that Meg always says "my wife," and I was just like,
yeah.
I don't care. I don't think. And then the second like he left Kazakhstan, I was like all the way in again. So
yeah.
When it comes to Sacha Baron Cohen, I'm a fan of the Ollie G show. I love Ollie G and Borat and Bruno, and it's my opportunity to be the change I want to see in the world, and I can be a part of a fan base and not be annoying and not shun the thing that I love.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right. So everything you said about Bruno and how it took over the world and got super memey and annoying, you are so right.
Borat, you mean? You said Bruno.
I said Bruno. Borat, but kind of just everything Sacha Baron Cohen does. All of those characters.
Yeah.
Right.
But I still love Sacha Baron Cohen, and pretty much everything he does, I watch it and enjoy it. And then I don't need to imitate it or quote it. I just secretly be like, yeah, man, keep going. I'm there for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was about, because I kind of agree with what you were saying, Derek. Well, let me just say, when the trailer came out, I watched about 10 seconds of it, and then I went, you know what? No, this is coming out like right away. I'm already watching this. I don't need to watch a trailer. So I went in relatively cold. But just in general, I really went into it with that mindset of like, this can't be that good, probably, right? I mean, like, it'd be cool to see him again, but how good can it really be? And my brother said something to me that was true. He said, you know what, though, this guy has banked so much goodwill. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, and I remember, Derek, being at GDC, I think it was, in San Francisco. We had some extra time when we were in San Francisco one year, and that movie Grimsby came out that he did, which looked like a POS, honestly. And I did not hear very good stuff about it. But Derek, I remember you saying that at the time. It was like, it probably sucks, but like, I'm down to support this guy, you know, and that's kind of how I went into this. It's like, this is probably going to suck, but I'll support this guy. And I enjoyed it much more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
Much more.
The only thing I want to say is, let us not forget, Sacha Baron Cohen did put out a movie called The Dictator, which I have not seen.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to see it. I'm going to pretend that movie doesn't exist.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Oh, is it good?
It was his sense of humor, and like, so there's funny stuff, but it was, you would have loved it. You would have loved it if you saw it when you were 13. I really think that. If you had seen it at 13, it would have been like, oh my God, what a crazy comedy. I think you'd watch it now and be like, all right, yeah.
Okay. And to be fair, I think that comes through even in Borat.
Oh, sure.
Everything that's written, all the written comedy is a little juvenile. So the fat guy from the first movie is not in this film. I think the actor died.
Oh, did he?
I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up.
Maybe he did. I just assumed he did. I didn't look it up. Maybe he didn't.
I'll check it out.
You gotta assume he's gone.
The guy, he didn't look like he was long for this world.
No, he's still alive. He's not dead.
Oh.
Okay. Well, anyways, his character is dead. Spoiler alert in this film. Borat asks about him with the Ministry of Kazakhstan, and they're like, "Oh, you're sitting on him," and he hops out of the chair, and it's like leather made out of human skin. But then there's like a tiny dick, like right in the, and it's like, that's not the funniest written gag, but that's not why I come to Borat. It's not for like the written sight gags. It's for the public interactions. And that was, all that stuff was pretty good. Pretty good for 2020. Not as good as it was in 2006.
Yeah, but when it came out in 2006, no one knew what this was. Like, we saw the Ali G show before that, but like, I remember being in the theater and people were like, couldn't believe what they were watching. It was like revolutionary, really. No movie was made like this that was so mainstream. And so
No,
go ahead. No, I was just gonna say. So, like, now that he's done this several times, people know. But I will say that, like, it truly made me sad that I couldn't have watched this in a theater with people.
Yeah.
Like that, I put that on the same level when I saw Jackass for the first time, where it's like, this is so much fun. The theater's all in this together. We're all laughing and whatever. And like, you can hear people uncomfortable and nervous. And it's like, I wish I could have experienced that in a huge group.
I hear you on that. But, I had read other people that said that too. But I always watched Ollie G on DVD, like the HBO show. That's how I discovered it. So there was something oddly nostalgic and comforting about seeing new Borat skits from my living room couch. It reminded me of the old HBO show in a way.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Before we continue, I kind of wanted to explain some of this movie for people. If you haven't seen it, like cover a little bit of the plot. There's not much of a plot to a film like this, but just to give people an idea out there what Borat 2 is about. Unless there's anything you want to say, Rocco, before we do that.
No, not really. I mean, honestly, all I was going to say was in terms of getting this done in 2020 and making something like this in 2020, I thought he did a great job at thinking outside the box. You had him playing a character. You had this daughter character doing stuff. I thought they did a great job dancing around the obstacles that they would have doing it now. So yeah, I like I said, thoroughly enjoyed it more than I thought I would, because I thought, it was fairly creative in that way, and I thought that was really cool. But anyway, that's all.
So Borat 2, the story of Borat 2 is that Borat, the original 14 years ago, the 2006 film, was such a smash hit. And this is kind of based in reality, that it painted Kazakhstan, the actual country, in a bad light and kind of damaged the reputation of the country. That actually happened. The country complained about Sacha Baron Cohen damaging their image to the world. So in this movie, Borat is punished by being sent to a hard labor camp for 14 years. But after serving his time, he is released, and a lot of it is kind of tied into Kazakhstan's admiration of Donald Trump. And right out the gate, let it be said, this is a political anti-Trump movie. It is. And I'm sorry if that offends anybody watching. I didn't write the movie. I just watched it. So
it's really funny because he did that show, Who is America, which was very politically charged. But honestly, he really kind of dunked on everyone in that, on a lot of different sides. This is not the case. This is the biggest fucking takedown.
There was no visiting hippies. There was no taking down new age people. There was nothing nothing remotely to deal with Democratic or liberal candidates. This was taking on Donald Trump, taking on Mike Pence, taking on Rudy Giuliani, and taking on their supporters. That's basically the targets of this film. For better or worse. If you're into that thing, you might like it. If you're not into that thing, you might have a problem with Borat too. So anyways, back to the story. Kazakhstan admires Donald Trump, and they want to send him a gift, and they want to send Borat over as the ambassador because Borat is so famous in America. But they can't get to Donald Trump, so they decide to send a gift to Mike Pence instead. And the gift is a really horny monkey. That's kind of the setup for this movie. It's not even the first act. That's just kind of what gets everybody going. Is there anything you guys want to say about all that?
The original, when people first got wind they were doing a new Borat movie, that was the title that popped up on the Writers Guild website. For 1 second, they listed Borat subsequent film give monkey to Vice Premier Michael Pence. It was something about giving a monkey to Michael Pence, and then it disappeared. And people were like, was that real? Like, is that? So it was great seeing that pay off finally. This played, and it was like, oh, that was a real thing. Anyway.
Yeah, so quickly, all comedy skits aside, just talking about the story, Borat comes to America. He has the monkey shipped to America, but when the monkey arrives, it's gone, and his daughter is in the trunk. We find out that Borat has an extended family, and they've all pretty much just disowned him. except for this one daughter, who is played by, what's the actress's name? Do you guys know?
I can't pronounce it. It's Maria Bakalova.
Maria Bakalova. In my opinion, Maria Bakalova is going to launch her career. I'm almost jealous. I wish I was Maria Bakalova.
Dude.
This girl, what an opportunity to be. She's basically the star of Borat 2. She outshines, and let me say, this is coming from Derek Acosta, the guy who says every movie in 2020 is the main character being fucking replaced by his daughter, and I hate it.
Yeah,
in Borat 2, it works.
Yeah.
It's my favorite part.
It works, and you know what? Like, I think you're right. It's going to launch her career. It should. What a fucking badass. She's doing all this scary stuff with him. Like, dude, that's fucking gnarly. She's 24, and like, I don't know, man. She was in some precarious spots, and I don't know. It was awesome.
Yeah, I think she's like a Bulgarian actress or something, and this is like her big break. Like, I think that she's actually speaking Bulgarian most of this movie. But yeah, I was totally impressed. And yeah, literally when I walked in the office earlier, Johnny said, he was like, "Hey, I don't know if you watched the movie yet. I did. Is every movie bringing their kid, like, is every movie main character bringing their kid into the forefront now? What's going on?" It's so funny that you mentioned that. And it didn't even occur to me until he said that. I was like, oh yeah. But I think it didn't occur to me with this because she did such a good job, and it was so organically a part of the movie.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't feel like, get out of the way.
They cast the wrong actress, this movie sucks. Like this movie based solely on her, and she fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sacha Baron Cohen always has a great sidekick. He had the big old fat guy who's dead in the first Borat movie. In Bruno, he had his assistant. I can't remember the actor's name or the character's name.
Yeah.
But I felt like, in these movies, there's always a moment where the assistant or the sidekick kind of separates from Sacha Baron Cohen. And in Bruno was my favorite part because it was kind of this silent love affair.
Yeah.
Right. The assistant was in love with him silently, but then abandoned him, but then come back and they like announced their love. It was such a good heartfelt moment in Bruno.
Yeah.
But in Borat 2, it is Maria Bakalova. And I thought that she was the strongest of all of those sidekick characters across all of these movies.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite of those sidekick characters.
Yeah, I agree.
And she was awesome. She was great. So, story-wise, Borat's daughter is in the trunk instead of the monkey. So the monkey that they were going to give to Mike Pence, they can't give it to him. So they decide to give Mike Pence Borat's daughter as a gift instead. They end up not being able to do that. And so by the end of the movie, they decide to give her as a gift to Rudy Giuliani. Those are the major story beats across that facilitate this whole film. And then in between are these little adventures and comedy skits that kind of get us to those major story parts. Yeah. So so let's talk about like kind of the journey. It's about the journey, not the destination with this movie. So let's talk about some of our favorite comedy skits. What do you remember from early on after that girl shows up? She shows up, she's really ugly, so one of the early skits is giving her a makeover.
Yeah, I thought that debutante or that influencer girl who talked about being a sugar baby.
Yeah.
That was like so gross and weird, and it's like, man,
they have for people at home, they have Maria Bakalova, who looks like an Eastern European homeless person, basically, talk to a sugar baby, a girl who has a sugar daddy, on tips on how to make money off of men. So go ahead and let everybody know what you thought about the skit.
Well, I was gonna say that started and I was like all the way in all over again. It was like 2006. I was so excited because it's like they just show you these aspects of life that are so gross and get these people to open up to these like awful things that you would never say out loud, especially on camera.
Yeah.
But they get them to like open up and like say this stuff. It's like, I can't believe this fucking girl said this. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Some of my favorite parts, they give her a makeover and she looks beautiful. She's like an actress, you know, she's stunning. Yeah. And then they take her to a plastic surgeon, and this is something I've felt. Let me give you a personal story once. One time, my mom accompanied a friend of hers to go to a plastic surgeon just for moral support, and as a joke, asked the plastic surgeon, what would you do to me? Expecting the plastic surgeon to say, like, oh, you're perfect. The plastic surgeon gave her a rundown of everything he wanted to do to her, and my mom came home depressed. Like, oh no. It feels so ugly. And I was like, of course a fucking plastic surgeon is going to say all that shit to you. Right. I got the same feeling in this movie when Borat, sitting next to this beautiful actress, goes, what would you change about her? And the plastic surgeon immediately goes, oh, I would refine the nose. And I feel like it was so fucking authentic when she goes, what is wrong with my nose?
Yeah.
Just flat out.
Yeah.
And then they like continue with the bit, but I felt like that was real. Fuck that surgeon. Like what's he digging for?
Dude, that's hilarious. I've heard that story 100 times from 100 different people. They same thing. Took someone to a surgeon and they asked like, what would you do? And they immediately have like a million things.
Yeah. Hey, people out there, don't ever ask a plastic surgeon what's wrong with you. Don't ever do that shit.
Because they're looking at what can make me the most money. What can I do here?
Yeah. You're not gonna like the answer at all.
Ever. Well, I thought one of my favorite parts, actually maybe my favorite part of the whole movie, was the debutante ball that he took his daughter to show her off. And the dance they did, whatever, that was gross and funny and whatever. Yeah. But the part where he asked that guy, like, how much did you pay to have sex with my daughter? Yeah. And the guy is like, whispers back $500. And then they high five. And then his daughter heard that and just goes, he like, tries to apologize to her because it's fucking gross. Like she was so disgusted.
That was the most raw and real moment for sure.
Yeah. That moment like what just got me where it's like, dude, your dad fucking sucks and you know it. And that, wow.
Well, yeah. Man, why I love Sacha Baron Cohen is he's constantly revealing the hypocrisy in our society.
Yeah.
And that debutante ball was so prim and so proper. The girls are basically wearing wedding dresses.
Yeah.
And then that dad is just fucking disgusting. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
That's kind of Borat at its purest moment. Like
I kind of felt that way, yeah.
Yeah, getting people just to reveal you know, another moment that reminded me of that was just like really pure and really like, I don't know if it was hypocritical, but when he was talking to those QAnon guys, those conspiracy theorists, and then he started telling them his own conspiracy theory about how his daughter had abandoned him and was going to be like repurposed for nefarious government purposes, and then they pulled up pictures of her on the website, and the guys started. You could tell they started thinking they were getting sucked into an actual real conspiracy theory.
They were excited.
They were checking Borat's photos and checking the website being son of a bitch. That's the same girl. And you could see the guy getting nervous, like, hold the fuck on. And again, it was like that real moment. Not quite the same thing as a hypocrisy, but just Borat, like, I don't know, playing people's true nature against themselves on camera for us to laugh at. Those were some of the best moments.
Yeah. I will say the very little trivia that they have out for this movie, they have something about those guys actually, and that he lived with them for 5 days, and never broke character. So they had no idea that whole time, but like, he was just there with them for that 5 whole days being filmed with them.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's got to be a ton of extra footage from this because. Well, there's got to be a ton of material they didn't even use. But also, like, even today, I follow, like, there's a Borat Instagram. Like, he set up an in-character Instagram.
Okay.
And even that, they were posting, after I watched the movie and everything, they've been posting clips all day promoting it. And there's clips of the daughter, like, infiltrating, there's a kind of a right-wing news network. Was it OAN or something?
I don't know.
I don't know. But like she infiltrates that and gets into their press room and she's asking them questions. They were posting stuff that wasn't even in the movie.
Right.
And like she said something to Donald Trump Jr. at one point. It's like, this isn't even in the film. Like what is going on? So they've got to, I imagine at some point they're going to, I would hope they would release like a Blu-ray with a ton of extra shit or something, you know, like that'd be awesome. But
so just to keep people up to speed on what's happening in this movie, right? He gives his daughter a makeover. He wants to present her to Mike Pence. He goes to a Republican National Convention where he dresses as Donald Trump, throws his daughter over his shoulder, tries to give her to Mike Pence when he's on stage, gets kicked out of the convention.
Another fucking crazy part. And like that part was so nuts. And I was like, this is the first half hour of the movie. Like you did that. And I guess the last piece of trivia that they have for this movie is he waited in that stall until Mike Pence was on. So he was in that stall for 5 hours waiting for Mike Pence to come out.
Because I thought I had heard something when Mike Pence spoke at that event. I thought I heard something like, someone tried to do some stunt. You know, so there was like a Trump impersonator doing some stunt. I don't remember what it was, but I remember hearing something that they tried to fuck with him. And it's so funny. Over the course of watching this movie, there were like 5 things that I remember, like I heard something weird, you know. Giuliani said something that someone tried to prank him, and then there was this thing, and then you know, him doing a song at some rally or whatever, and it was like all these things came together, like, oh, they were all part of this movie. That's so awesome. Anyway.
Yeah, so he fails to present his daughter to Mike Pence. He decides he wants to give her to Rudy Giuliani. You know, one of my favorite parts, I don't know why this cracked me up so much, but he wants to get plastic surgery for his daughter, like we said. And he goes to the plastic surgeon, and it's going to be like $27,000. $20,800 something fucking dollars. And Borat gives them a duffel bag full of $1 bills and sits there while they count it. I don't know why this might be my favorite gag in the whole movie. They're $72 short of an almost $30,000 operation. And she just counted it in ones.
Yeah.
How many fucking hours did it take her to count all that? They're $72 short. And he goes, $72 in 24 hours. I don't know if we can do this. All right. And he takes it all and he leaves. That fucking got me. I was like, dude, $72 short. You're sitting on almost $30,000 cash and you kick him out the door.
But what I love about that gag is the setup of it, that in any other movie, it would be like, we have 24 hours to raise $30,000. You know, like, and it's, no, he has most of it. He just doesn't have 72. 24 hours for $72? I don't know if we could do it. Like, what? That's so fucking
I also love the idea that woman, without knowing she was in this movie, like, she didn't do all that work. They were so close. And then obviously they never go back to her. So she did all that for nothing, but to look stupid. And it's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
great. They have 24 hours to raise $72.
Yeah.
They don't know how to do it. They end up kind of splitting up during this part of the movie. The daughter goes to live with kind of a babysitter.
Yeah.
And Borat goes to live with these guys. This basically coronavirus breaks out while they're filming this movie. And so they work it in that everywhere Borat goes is abandoned. He can't make any money because nobody's on the streets.
Yeah.
And he meets just one guy who says, like, yeah, there's a virus. And Borat goes, well, can I go to your house? And then he goes to live with these conspiracy theorist Trump supporters. And you know what? These guys were pretty cool guys, I will say, you know, to their credit.
Cool. Here's the thing, is like they're talking about like the Clintons, like drinking kids' blood for adrenaline or something. Like, there's some fucking gnarly things that they're saying. It's like, what are you saying?
But
like, Derek, I see what you're saying. Like, they're friendly to him. They were
took
like
Borat in the middle of a pandemic. They took a stranger in. They lived with him for 5 days, and they never were mean to him. They befriended him. And Borat is fucking weird. And honestly, he's kind of making fun of him the whole time.
Yeah.
And they're just, you know, going with it, being friends with him.
And then at the festival, they really were trying to help him.
Yeah.
Like, they really were.
And, you know, this is a political takedown of Trump and Trump supporters, but I felt like I liked those guys, you know. Even though he was trying to take them down, there was still, you know, I may disagree with some of the things that they believe, but I didn't hate those guys, you know.
The situation kind of brought them together.
Yeah. And I do see what you're saying. It really does show you like the humanity on every side of this. And it's like, I mean, those people are at this thing with like AR-15s, and they're like, honestly, that's fucking scary to me. Like this group is not, that's not my scene. But like they're dying. Yeah, they were nice to him.
Another favorite part of my movie is Borat's trying to explain to these guys what he believes about women and how vaginas are deadly and all this crazy shit. And these guys and he's showing them a book from Kazakhstan explaining all of it. And these guys are like, bro, this is fucked up. This is not scientific. Like, who validated this book? Bro, this is a conspiracy theory. Like, you believe this?
Yeah.
Trying to convince him not to believe his conspiracy theories when they're spouting their own for the whole 5 days that he's living with them.
Yeah.
Real quick, though, we did move past, personally, the hardest I laughed during the whole movie. And I don't want to move past it too quick. This is you're probably going to be like, why this? But
Rocco, I know what it is.
It was the smallest little gag, but I don't know why it was killing me. It was like my favorite little dumb gag is when he was trying to get the $72.
I knew it.
And he goes to cut the guy's. He ends up being a hair cutter for this guy. And every time he cuts the hair, he shows it to him. I don't know why that was killing me.
Rocco, I saw that, and I'm like, this is a Rocco gag if I've ever seen it. Because he does it for every snip.
Okay, you like? Yeah, good. It took me a minute to realize he was putting it in his pocket after he was done. I had to rewind it because I was laughing. Anyway.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. There were a couple parts of the movie that were like mind-blowing. Just how fucked up people in America can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt kind of depressed after this movie a little bit. And like he always shows you, like before with Borat, he would show you like the crazy people and like, oh man, that's that world. That's not whatever. That's just a couple people. But now it's like, oh, this is more mainstream than I realized. Like all these,
yeah,
it's a little gnarly. I was a little bummed about the state of things, I guess.
Yeah, for me, the height of it was when he was singing his song at the Trump rally. He gets on stage and he sings a song and he gets the crowd involved.
Yeah.
And he basically, the gist of the song is like, what do we do with people who don't agree with us? And it just, he keeps like asking the crowd, like, all right, what should we do? Should we vote him out of office or chop him up like the Saudi Arabians do? And people shout like, chop him up. And then they start singing like, what do we do with these anti-American people? We chop them up like the Saudis do. I'm not getting it right.
Yeah.
That's not exactly the words, but that's basically the sentiment. And it was moments like that where I was like, oh my God, you guys are so lost in the sauce.
That was depressing.
At an American political rally, basically saying like, I wish we could chop up people like they do in this other country.
Yeah, it's like journalists. Like journalists.
Yeah, and then with the idea of like, yeah, that's what a real American would do. That part was one of those things where I just put my hands to my head and I was like, I can't believe this is on film. And then obviously the grand finale is Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah.
Derek,
let's talk about the Rudy Giuliani part.
He was just tucking in his shirt. I don't know what the big deal is.
Footage of a guy tucking in his shirt.
Touching a girl on her side and laying down on a bed and tucking her shirt as you tuck in shirts. I don't get it.
Everybody who's watching this will probably look forward to the Rudy Giuliani part. I don't think he necessarily like grabs his penis on camera. He honestly, I think probably is tucking in his shirt in that moment. Personally,
I think he started tucking in his shirt. I do. He's definitely cupping his nuts at one point.
I do think he's tucking in his shirt in that moment, but for me, the issue is not that moment. It's the whole interview where it's clear he is making advances on Borat's daughter.
Right.
Drinking alcohol, the physical contact, patting her on the back, the giggling, the flirting, give me your number, give me your address, going into a private bedroom. Yeah, going into a private room with the drinks, laying down on the bed. I don't think he was pulling out his penis, but he was probably about 90 seconds away from doing that.
I think he was going for a little extra. He was definitely tucking his shirt in, but I think he was going for extra while he was there. Like, I told Sean, it's almost like nacho rules. Like when someone takes one nacho and they're all stuck together. Oh, and it's like, I know what the fuck you're doing. Okay. Like, I know you're trying to get off on this.
Doing. Yo, this is the we're Mega64. We talk real shit. I know. It just clicked when you said that. I know what Rudy was doing. Let's talk, ladies and gentlemen. How do you kill a boner? There are many different methods on how to do it. But since high school, I have been told one of the most effective methods, you take that thing, you tuck it under your belt, and then nobody can tell. I think he was trying to conceal a boner.
Oh my God. You are right.
Yeah.
Well, assuming Rudy Giuliani could get a boner, he's really old. I don't know.
No, because Rocco said, I think he was going for a little extra, and he was going for the classic, I'm going to tuck in my shirt and then quickly adjust the boner.
You're right. So reaches down to his dick and went to pull it up to tuck it in the belt. That is exactly what happened, Derek. I think you nailed it.
You know what? Somebody should be reporting, because on Movie Club, we are cracking these movie mysteries left and right. The Jessica Alba career, the Rudy Giuliani boner pull. Giuliani. Anyways,
I did laugh.
I stumbled on something.
I don't know who said it. It might have been someone in our Twitch chat, or it was on Twitter. I can't remember. But I did laugh at, like, Rudy Giuliani. He tweeted out that, like, anything you see in this scene is a falsehood. It's a, designed to, it's a farce, And I laughed that somebody said, Rudy Giuliani using the classic, you think that's jerking off, I feel sorry for you defense.
I saw the same thing.
That was cracking me up. Anyway.
Dude, yeah, I mean, regardless if he was tucking or not, the freeze frames of all of it look terrible.
He looked bad front to back. No matter how you slice it.
I loved how when this came out, he said, Sacha Baron Cohen tried to get me, but he couldn't fool me. Is what he says, and like he came out right away and said that, and it's like, oh, this is you not being fooled.
By the way, if you haven't seen this movie, when Rudy Giuliani goes for the boner pull, Sacha Baron Cohen bursts in and goes, "This is my daughter. She's only 15. And I've never seen a politician look like they've seen a fucking ghost faster."
Yeah.
I mean, can we get the camera angle on the blood draining from his boner in that moment? It's seriously like, hey, let's have drinks. That's my daughter. She's 15.
Yeah. I think she said she's 15. She's too old for you.
Yeah, she's too old for you.
Burn.
Yeah.
What a thing to say.
Oh, that was great.
So let's give this movie some popcorn shakes and then wrap it up. What do you say?
Yeah. I'll start. I was so pleasantly surprised with this movie. Didn't know it was even coming out. Didn't know I wanted it to come out. I would say I'm going to give it a very solid 4 stars for me. I'm so happy that we got this movie. I'm thrilled.
4 shakes. You meant shakes.
I just say stars. What an idiot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't even know what you were saying. I didn't even
Popcorn
understand.
Shakes.
Sorry.
Yeah. I'm gonna say something controversial. I'm gonna drop some. I can't let this end without some controversy.
Okay.
I like this one more than the original, personally.
Wow.
Because
I haven't seen the original in a long time. I can't really speak on that. I don't know.
I like the original. I never felt like that was his best work. I think there were Borat bits in the show that were funnier. Mm-hmm. I remember I thought they kind of showed all the funny stuff in the trailers. Personally, I never thought it was that great. And him and that fat producer guy who was obviously dead. I never really loved that dynamic. I thought the daughter dynamic was way more interesting in this one, and they blew me away in this one. The biggest surprise of all weren't even the stunts for me. It was that Borat showed growth.
Yeah.
He evolved as a character. That was the last thing I expected from this damn movie.
I agree. There were moments that I really I was touched. I'm like, I feel something here, and I care about these characters.
It was somehow adorable, kind of. I didn't expect that. And there was an emotional arc, and I actually thought that was something the original did not have. But man, what a dark ending. They paid off. They had the running of the Jew in the first movie.
Yeah.
And that was always kind of a joke. And it's almost like they paid that joke off by saying, no, that was never we had it wrong. The enemy was the Yankee. That was a funny but dark moment. And so
yeah, it was. And that I think I left sad with that.
Yeah.
It was like they're like killing Dr. Fauci and like stomping on the vaccine and killing it. And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah. So I felt a lot of stuff. So
I had to go cool off from your review.
Oh, so we didn't get his shakes yet, Rocco. So wait, what's your shakes?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say solid 4. Yeah, a solid 4. I personally thought it topped the original. That's me. I liked it.
All right, Derek.
I give this movie 3 out of 5. I really liked it. At the end of this movie, though, it really did make me feel sad for America.
Yep.
Not like, I don't know, it was a weird kind of sadness. Not like America sucks or I hate the people. I felt like this movie just held a mirror up to our whole society.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like that Sacha Baron Cohen made this movie. I like this movie. I just wish that this movie couldn't have been made.
I completely agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
And when they replace, one of the things from the original movie that honestly, like I remember thinking like you can't do Borat in 2020.
Yeah.
Is the running of the Jews.
Oh, that's what we you cut out then when we
I cut out for that part. So I'm sure you guys already covered it, but changing that to the running of the Americans.
Yeah.
I think in years past I would have felt like that's lame, dude. Like, come on, try harder. But it for whatever reason, it did kind of seem poignant in Borat 2 to me.
Yeah, that's what I literally said the same thing. I totally agree. Agree.
Yeah. So we haven't discussed it. We haven't even talked about this movie, and we both came away feeling the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I give it 3 stars out of 5. Solid film.
Yeah.
That would be 11 out of 15 for all of us.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And one last little trivia thing I just wanted to say, because this may have ongoing implications, but when the most awkward moment to me in this movie was him entering the synagogue.
Oh my God.
In that costume.
Brutal. That was brutal.
Yikes. But the woman there she was a Holocaust survivor. She passed away right after the movie was filmed, and the family has been threatening him with a lawsuit over that stunt. Oh. And he actually, that's the one thing he came out and talked about how he did it. And he said, when I'm Borat, I never break character, but that scene I did. He said, that scene, I fully broke the character. I told them what was happening. Like, hey, I'm going to be a shithead. Talk me out of it. Like, try to be my friend. He set the whole thing up that way. He's like, because the purpose of that scene was not to like make them mad. It was to like bond with them. So he's like, so I saw no, anyway. So the family is saying like, no, you conned her, you upset her, you did all this stuff, and he's like, no, I informed them what was going on, and they're saying he didn't, but he's saying like, no, we filmed the whole thing. I've got footage of that.
Of course he does.
So I guess everyone's kind of waiting to see if this becomes a lawsuit or if he releases that.
Rudy Giuliani couldn't stop this footage from coming out. You think that little old woman was going to do it? And her family, rather. I will say, the 2 Jewish women in the synagogue and the babysitter were like the shining beacons of hope in this movie.
They really were.
Like, hey, you know what? Like, yeah, a lot of this sucks, but there is good out there. There really is. He's got to find it.
Yeah. And those were some of the cutest moments of the whole thing. So altogether, I thought it was the whole package. I dug it. Anyway.
Cool. Well, if you haven't seen it, it's on Prime. You probably have Prime to go watch it.
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. I really want to try this feature at some point, like on Twitch, where you could stream Amazon Prime movies if everyone has Prime, I guess. I want to try that at some point. It'd be cool to watch this again and do like a stream or something. I don't know. But for today, that's enough Borat.
You'll have to figure that out on your own time. But this episode of Movie Club is coming to an end. Yeah. Thank you for watching, everybody.
Back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Time. We're not going to recommend a movie for next time because this is a bonus episode.
Yeah.
So go watch Borat. That's it.
I'm still going to recommend a movie, Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet. We're not going to be watching that, but
I'm not watching that.
It's the worst. That's the worst.
It's about
Kenneth
4 hours.
Branagh movie after Tenet. All right. Good night.
Oh, come on.